So it's weird when you look at the Miami Dolphins and you see the roster, you think, okay, this team is a Super Bowl contender. They have Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Devon Achane, Jalen Ramsey, Javon Holland. Their team is low-key stacked. However, there's one big inconsistency that has been happening, and it is quarterback play. When Tua has played good, he played amazing. However, his only problem is when the temperature drops below 70 degrees and staying healthy, because he always gets a concussion for some reason. So that's why today I put a bunch of different Pro Bowl quarterbacks on the Miami Dolphins to see if they can save them. So our first quarterback is Baker Mayfield, who would lead the Dolphins to a 10-7 record, just missing the playoffs, unfortunately, as they finished as the number 8 seed. And damn, I think it's the first time in this entire series that I've seen a team get double-digit wins but miss the playoffs. I've had a bunch where they've had a losing record and made the playoffs, but either way, let's see how did Baker do with the Dolphins. Okay, so Mayfield would have 4,042 yards, 25 touchdowns, and 13 picks. So a solid campaign with them. Had enough to get them to double-digit wins, and he had Tyreek Hill as the second leading receiver in the league. However, they just couldn't. I don't know how they couldn't. They probably had a slow start, but either way, let's go to quarterback number 2 to see how he does. So the second quarterback of the video is Justin Herbert, who would lead the Dolphins to an 11-6 record, getting them into the playoffs as a number 3 or number 6 seed. So had one more win than Baker, but was able to finish higher than he did. And yeah, let's go look at the stat. Also, I want to say I literally just woke up like 20 minutes ago, so if I sound tired as hell, then you understand why. Okay, so Herbert would throw for 4,300 yards, 32 touchdowns, and 13 picks. So he actually had a pretty good year. He had a better year than Baker basically in every stat, which is either way, can we beat the Bills? Can we pull off an upset? Or will Herbert have the same fate as Tua and can't play in the cold, as we'll beat them 20-14, as Herbert doesn't really play that good. 167 yards, 0 touchdowns, 1 pick, but whatever, he got the win. Okay, that's all that matters. Now we're going against the Colts. I just finished editing the Colts one where, if you guys, I don't know when this one come out, but the Colts, the only Super Bowl they won was Lamar Jackson, who's ironically on the screen right now. But either way, can we beat the Colts? They're 10-7. We're 11-6. We should be able to beat them, and we will. We'll beat them 34-21. So Herbert would play way better. 283 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 0 picks. So I guess he actually showed up to this game. They needed him to, but now we're in the AFC Championship against the number 1 seed Ravens. Can we pull off an upset and with our second quarterback get to the Super Bowl? Let's see, can we do it? And we cannot. We'll lose to the Ravens in the AFC Championship round. Damn. Herbert played not that good again. Basically almost exactly like his first start against the Bills. However, he threw it for a touchdown this time, but damn, either way, Herbert is our farthest quarterback. We've only done 2. I'm surprised we already made it to the AFC Championship game. Let's see if any of the rest of the many quarterbacks we have in this video can go farther, and let's go see. Okay, so the next QB we have is Jaden Daniels, who would lead the Dolphins to a 14-3 record, getting them the number 1 seed. Damn, what a turnaround. I guess a rookie saved them. Let's see what were I can't even talk again. What were Jaden Daniels' stats this season? So Daniels would have 3,989 yards, 27 touchdowns, and 8 picks. So far through the 3 quarterbacks, he'd actually have the lowest amount of touchdowns and yards. That's a little surprising, but I don't know how they won 14 games. Maybe something crazy on the defense, but I was expecting more crazier stats from Daniels, considering they literally won fucking 14 games. But let's see who our opponent is for the divisional round. So we're going against the 12-5 Steelers, who are the number 7 seed. Damn, a 12-win 7 seed team is kind of crazy, I'm not gonna lie. But either way, can we beat them? They're a number 7 seed. Can we beat them? And we will. We'll smack them 31-7, as Daniels would have a solid performance. But now we have the big test. We're going against the Chiefs. Can we advance to the first Super Bowl of this video? Let's see, can we beat the Chiefs, or will we lose again in the AFC Championship round? But yes, we'll lose to the Chiefs 21-28. Daniels played all right, I guess. Damn, the second QB in a row to get us to the, I can't even talk again, to get us to the AFC Championship game, but obviously we can't get to the Super Bowl. Let's see if we can make it 3 years in a row, make it to the AFC Championship game. So the next quarterback we have is Dak Prescott, who will lead the Dolphins to a 12-5 record, getting them into the playoffs as the number 5 seed. So that's 3 years in a row of having 12. Wait, hold up. Whatever I just said, forget it. But either way, let's see how did Dak do. Okay, so Dak would have 4,492 yards, 27 touchdowns to 13 picks. So he would have the most yards so far of any QB in this video. Obviously not the most touchdowns. But either way, can Dak follow up the last 2 quarterbacks? Can he get a playoff win? Or will he just choke in the first round like usual? And he'll choke in the first round like usual. They'll lose 26-21. Dak played like how Dak usually does in the playoffs. He had a lot of yards, decent amount of touchdowns, but he did throw 3 picks. So that was kind of eventful for Dak. But either way, the AFC Championship streak is broken, but can a new quarterback restart the streak? So the next quarterback we have is Jared Goff, who would lead the Dolphins to a 6-11 record, missing the playoffs, being the second team to miss the playoffs this entire video as they finish as the number 13 seed. And let's see what were Goff's stats. Okay, so Goff would have 3,052 yards, 27 touchdowns to 12 interceptions. So he's like the 3rd quarterback to land on 27 on the dot, which is kind of weird to think about. But either way, he played decent, I guess, but he did have the lowest amount of yards out of any quarterback so far. And it's shown by the record as they went 6-11. But can any of these final 4 QBs make it to the top? Can they win it all? We'll see right now. The next QB we have in line is Joe Burrow, who will lead the Dolphins to a 12-5 record, getting them the number 5 seed as they just couldn't win the division against the Bills. Let's see what were Burrow's stats. Okay, so Burrow would have 4,154 yards, 35 touchdowns to 7 picks. So by far, probably the best QB season we've had. Obviously not the most yards, but he did have the most touchdowns and the least amount of picks. So I guess that's pretty good. But either way, can Burrow lead the Dolphins to the playoffs? The Dolphins could have drafted Burrow potentially if they would have lost more games in 2020. But can Burrow lead them for a win? And they cannot, as he'll lose a 39-33 playoff thriller. But Burrow actually played good. I think it's probably the best playoff performance we've seen out of any QB this entire video. Over 350 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 pick. Obviously, though, it wasn't enough to get them over the hump. So we have 3 QBs left. Can any of them get to the AFC Championship and farther? Let's go. So the next QB we have is Josh Allen, who would lead the Dolphins to a 14-3 record, getting them the number 1 seed in the AFC. Damn. Let's see, what were Allen's stats? Were they better than, who was it, Jayden Daniels? Yeah, Jayden Daniels got them the number 1 seed. I don't know how though he did, but let's see, did Allen blow everyone out the water? Pause. Okay, so Allen would have 3,919 yards, 24 touchdowns to only 3 interceptions. So obviously the yards and touchdowns aren't as high as they usually are for Allen, but if you can get Allen to throw less than 5 picks, you are obviously going to win 14 games. But yeah, let's see who is going to be our opponent in the divisional round. As obviously we're going to beat Casper the Ghost in the first round, but who's going to be our opponent? It's going to be the New York Jets. Can we beat the Jets? We probably should. We have 3 more wins than they do. But can we advance to the AFC Championship game? We will. 31-28. Allen performs pretty good. Him and Rodgers actually went almost band for band, but we had 60 more yards than Rodgers. Okay, but can we advance to the first Super Bowl of the video? Can we beat the 9-8 Texans, bro? We better actually make it, bro. We have 5 more wins than they do, and we lose to them. Oh my goodness, a 9-8 number 4 seed just made it to the Super Bowl, and they won in double overtime or like sudden death or whatever. Allen actually played pretty good, 215 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 picks. Just damn. I don't know. A 9-8 team beating a 14-3 is crazy. I'm not gonna lie, but so we get to our 3rd AFC Championship of the video. However, we cannot get over that hump. Can the last 2 QBs get over the hump? So the next QB we have is Lamar Jackson, who would lead the Dolphins to a 13-4 record. Ironically, playing the Ravens. Okay, so that is kind of interesting that we're going against Lamar's team, but let's see, how did Lamar do this year? So Lamar would have 4,747 yards, 36 touchdowns to 8 interceptions. By far the best QB season we've seen out of anyone this entire video. He had the most yards and the most touchdowns right now, and the third least amount of picks. But damn. So wait, I wanted to see. So Tua is on the Ravens now because obviously I have to trade him over. But how did Tua do with the Ravens? So Tua had 3,544 yards, 26 touchdowns to 15 picks. He had a solid year. There's a reason why they went 9-8. But can we beat Lamar's current team? Or will Tua get his revenge? And Tua gets his revenge as we lose 28-21. Damn. As Tua will outperform Lamar massively, having 3 touchdowns to 0 picks. Well, Lamar only had 1 touchdown to 1 interception. Well, that campaign kind of ended very abruptly, but we have one final QB to go to. Can he be the one to lead them to the Super Bowl, or will he fail? Okay, so our last quarterback, why did I say quarterback like that? QB of the video is Patrick Mahomes, who would lead the Dolphins to a 10-7 record. But also, for the second quarterback in a row, we're facing their old team. We're facing the Chiefs, who now obviously have Tua, and I want to see Tua's stats, but we're going to look at Mahomes first. Okay, so Mahomes will have 4,421 yards, 30 touchdowns to 10 interceptions. So he had actually a pretty good season. I think he probably played better than what the record shows, but let's see. The 13-4 Chiefs led by Tua, what was his stats? He had 4,548 yards, 38 touchdowns, 11 picks. So Tua outplayed Mahomes when they switched teams. I guess the reunion with Tyreek Hill didn't go as explosive as it could have went, but either way, can we pull off the upset and beat Mahomes' current team, or will Tua get his revenge again? And Tua gets his revenge again. We lose 34-21. Tua does even better than he did last time. He has 282 yards, 4 touchdowns to 0 picks. Mahomes doesn't play bad, but 4 touchdowns to 0 picks is a crazy stat line. But either way, I think that shows that a quarterback is not really Miami's full problem. Obviously, we only missed the playoffs twice out of the 9 QBs we used, and I usually use 10, but I forgot who. There was a quarterback that had a lower overall than Tua. But either way, a QB is not a problem for Miami. They have a lot more problems to fix. We'll see what they can do. Is they're likely going to trade Ramsey, hopefully back to the Rams. But either way, if you guys did enjoy this video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We're on that road to 2,000 subs before Madden 26. And as always, I don't know how to end these things, but